Hello again. As usual, this is Becca, going by Netcat or Netcat's Meow when online. And welcome back for another week discussing Linden's scripting language. Last week, I introduced you all to Resing and that little improvised block tower thing I put together for you. This week, though, I'm taking a bit of a detour because I'm preparing something for what you can do with resed objects. I was actually going to create something of a projectile system, a ball throwing mini game you can create. But of course, to do that, you need a target, as you see the large target behind me. That is going to be this week's freebie item, as well as I'm going to show you how to get it set up to actually serve as a scoring system. And then next week, we're going to go into more detail with the actual resing with force and playing around with how to make the projectiles function a little bit differently, and a couple of things along those lines. But today, we're just going to make sure you have something to shoot at that doesn't involve violating any pesky little sim rules or terms of service or actively trying to hurt anybody, even virtually, because this is on YouTube, and we have to keep everything super friendly. Anyhow, so one of the first things you're going to need to know in order to set this up is what the link numbers for each of these pieces are. Now, if you take it just as I'm creating it, the ones you have and the ones I'm about to show you should be the same. So this is a little thing that we have done before. Whoops, adjusting the lighting at my desk here. I actually have a dimmer switch built directly in, and I needed to adjust things. So we get, there we go, that's 3. Actually, make this even better. We're going to fix that with editing. 4, 5, 1, 2. Okay. That was important for reasons that shall be apparent shortly. One thing you can do if you're doing something like that, you just want to remove everything from it. Scripts, build, scripts, remove scripts from selection. Takes care of everything from there. Now, since we don't have edit link parts, so we're automatically at the root prim, create new script. Since this is meant to be a target to shoot at, we don't need touch start. We need collision start. What is wrong with me? There we go. It, of course, has to have an integer hit. That just is allowing it to keep track if it has multiple hits that are registering simultaneously, can assign which one is which. Or not necessarily simultaneously, but in a very close together frame of time. Probably closer than a human being is going to be able to keep track of. If detected link number, 0, that's a reference to the actual integer of hit there, 0 equals 3, we're just going ahead and marking out what these all are. So 3 would be the bullseye. 4 is ring 1. And these should always be else, by the way. You should know that by now. Ring 2. I may be just a touch tired recording today. I just kept having one thing after another come up while trying to get set up here. So ring 2 was 5, and then ring 3 is 1. Now what we can do is set it up to announce the hits, but you really want something like this probably to keep score. So we're going to go ahead and give it a way to keep score. Integer points equals 0. We're going to create a function for score that is going to take an integer called hit. Points equals points plus hit. Shout, this is just say, but with a wider range. Shout on channel 0. And we're going to have it say point total plus string points. You may be wondering what that little bar up top for is. That's another part of the point total system. We're going to add that in. Message linked. That's going to be 2. And channel 0. A string for points. Null key. Yay, I am not too tired to forget how to write message linked. That is good. So, if it hits bullseye, we're going to shout on channel 0, since this is not an owner say. We're going to shout bullseye. And that's a sign of my fatigue. Shout, not sout. I don't even know what sout is. Is sout a thing? I really hope it's not a bad thing, because I honestly have no idea. And score, since it needs to have an integer that will automatically be added into the point total, we'll make a bullseye worth 10 points. And for the outer ring, we'll say that's 5 points. The next ring, score 2 points. Then ring 3, score 1 point. And save. Now, I set up a message link to go to here, but I haven't set it up to do anything yet. So far, I'm also just showing you stuff you already know. The collision start, little bit something that we haven't dealt with a lot. but you may have seen things with text floating on them. I'm about to show you how that's actually created. So we're going to need, oops, message linked. Integer from, integer channel, string message, key who. Expand that out a little bit, making myself more work in editing. Future me will be annoyed at past me when I become future me, but since I am past me, and past me is tired me, because of past me's getting involved with too many things today, current me does not care that future me will be unhappy with current me that will then be past me. I probably should edit that out. Anyway, moving along. Yes, the message link was coming in here with specifically the a string with the points. So we are going to do set text score total plus message. In just basic white, this uses the same RGB codes you'd use for anything else involving a color in SL. And we will set this to automatically, every time it's resed, reset itself. And when it resets, score 0. On res. Integer res, remember what we learned last week with the res command, that you can send a simple integer to change, that you can then process through the script when it's created to change how it will function. That will be really important when we get to resing systems, but that'll be a couple of weeks. We will get to them, I promise. I actually use enough of it in stuff I have set up around the sim that teaching it to you, I already have examples. Alright, so on res reset script. Often very useful. It is just what it says. Make sure that the script runs everything on start. The object shouts point total 0 and shows up top score total 0. Now I'm going to cut this for a quick moment while I go ahead and make sure I have something to throw at it. Alright, folk, welcome back. I just had to go make sure that I had a suitable test object available. This is actually a gun. Again, we will go over how to make this next week. Not this specific model, just the general principle of it. But I had to go make sure that I had one that worked, since I do a lot of just text RP, so not every one I have actually shoots, because I'm happy enough with just the model. But it's good enough to test with. This one is actually one of my favorites. It's called the 8-ball revolver. So if you want to look it up on the Nexus, it's by Breach. But here we go. Yep, bullseye. I tested it out a couple times, that's why it already has a score. So there you go. If I click on all this, it does nothing. If I actually shoot it with something, it responds. At this range, I basically can't miss it, so it's really not any kind of big deal. But we're going to be playing around with more of a ball toss style next week when I show you how to script the thrown ball. So there you have how to create a target so that you can actually set up a little mini game. For those of you that are virtual shooting enthusiasts, you can use the same technique to set up a wide target range. For those of you that want more of a family-friendly thing, I'll actually help you make a simple ball toss next week. I actually have to go into a little bit with rotations and with how the velocity will affect things so that you can play around with how to tweak the behavior to your liking. So that's why we're putting that off for a week and doing the target this week. Anyhow, I hope to see y'all back next week when I get on with the actual ball toss itself. Until then, good day, good luck, and happy scripting.